Greetings. Grand day, everyone. Happy Monday. Monday is the day that is ruled by the moon. And the moon is currently in Libra, which is really, with the moon in Libra and the sun in Capricorn, those two energies are both I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. I'm trying to figure it out in my head. But then I'm like, we're here to talk about Mercury retrograde. So let's talk about what we're here to talk about. So Mercury is in the final days of it. Let me turn this music down a little bit. Mercury's in the final days of its post-shadow. And it's at the 10th degree today, which is a degree that is ruled by Capricorn. And Capricorn is about authority and integrity. So this is where I wanted to go. Capricorn, we are in Capricorn season now. The sun is at the 2nd degree of Capricorn. And with Capricorn, it's ruled by Saturn. Saturn is currently in Pisces. We are being given the opportunity to come into deep integrity with ourselves. Now, I want to say this is so important, and you know, I tend to be passionate about this stuff. And I appreciate that you guys appreciate that from me. But at the time that we're living on the planet, there's nothing more significant and important than us having the courage to be the authority in our own lives. To know that you are the authority, that everything is happening in your life is because you have given it permission on some level. Spiritually, psychically, through your lineage, through your own behavior, through your thoughts, you have opened the door to the experience you're having. There is no such thing as a victim, and that is so hard. And I have really struggled with that myself because I've had a lot of experiences in my life where I could not see how I was creating it, or how I was participating, or how I welcomed it into my life. I couldn't see it. So I felt extraordinarily victimized. But the more I've learned and studied and healed and investigated and gotten curious and been contemplative, contemplated these experiences, it will show me how I created it. Now, the reason we need to understand this is because Capricorn says you are the authority. And what has happened in our culture for hundreds of years is we've given our authority away. We've given it away to doctors and parents and teachers and politicians. And, we've given it away to these external forces. And it's important that we recognize how we have done that. You can't just walk away from it without understanding. It's almost like a knot that has to be untied. You have to unknot yourself in your consciousness from these behaviors. You have to see it. So for me, I remember when I was, oh my gosh, my ear is ringing. So, Lord have mercy. When I was young, I started noticing a behavior in me that I coined the Tarzan effect. And I would go from one boy to the next, right? Like before I was breaking up with one, I was looking for the next one, and it was like from one branch to the next. And what I saw in myself was that I had like an obsession with external validation and the connection on the monkey bars. Yes, that's how I was with men in my life, or boys, and then it turned into men. And I had to realize that my behavior is what invited in men who were dishonest, men who were manipulative or unkind. It was me. It was that I made myself so available, so so vulnerable. I was so, for lack of a better word, so needy, so hungry. And so because I didn't have a real sense of self and a real sense of boundaries, I opened myself up to things and people and men who didn't have my best interest at heart, because I didn't have my best interest at heart. A person could only reflect back to me who I was being with myself. But I had to learn that, because for years I thought like, well, he did that and when I saw, it's like, oh, you have to come into integrity with yourself. That's what Capricorn is. It's being in integrity, taking responsibility, understanding that you are the authority, no matter what it looks like, right? Like it's not an easy concept to fully get if you're not sick and tired of not having your needs met, or not feeling powerful, or not being able to access your energy. I used to feel like something was in me that I couldn't access. I could feel like, oh, there's something wanting to express through me, but I couldn't access it. And what was keeping it out of my reach was that I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in my own worth. I didn't believe in my own value. So I didn't believe in myself enough to protect myself, to stand for myself. So then I would just become what everyone wanted me. I remember when I was seeing this man, we were young. We were in our third, maybe I was like 30 or, we were younger. And I didn't watch television. I was somebody who did not watch television. And it was a real stance for me. And now I understand why I didn't watch television. And I'll tell that story in a few minutes. But so I didn't watch television. And he was a big television watcher. And he would just encourage me, watch this and watch this and watch this. And because I wanted to be connected to him, because I valued him over the reason that I was making a commitment to myself to keep my psyche out of watching television, I chose him, and then I chose everything that came with him. Everything that came with him, because I abandoned everything that I was building in myself. I was building a sense of self, a sense of understanding of myself, a connection to my own power and magic. And then I met somebody who had a different perspective, and I followed him. And when I tell you, this person never really respected me, ever. And we were together for years, and they never respected me. And the reason they didn't was because I abandoned myself, and I was not in integrity with my own choices, my own needs. And that person never, ever, ever really honored me, because I had taught them that I didn't honor myself. Integrity, authority. This is authority. This is integrity. Yes. They are more aware of how you abandon yourself than you are aware of how you abandon yourself. Yes. And because it was a pattern that came from my mother, that came from her mother. So the patterns just show up, and you don't recognize what they are until you're really curious about it. You don't recognize that you're running an ancestral code that needs your attention. So talking about, not watching television, I'm a Pisces rising, and I'm very susceptible to all manner of influences. And if I don't protect my field, I will become whatever the person is next. So if somebody comes and stays in my house, I've said this before, if somebody comes and stay at my house, maybe they're going to stay 2 or 3 days. If they drink coffee, I will start drinking coffee. If they eat, kangaroo, I will be curious about the kangaroo. Because my energy blends in with people. I'm watery. And so whatever's going on with somebody else becomes an experience of mine almost immediately. And it has taken me time to learn that I am porous. And so I have to protect myself. So watching television, just yesterday I was watching this new Netflix show about the women who carried the mail, the black women who carried the mail in the war against Hitler. And as I'm watching it, I can feel myself tensing up, from the scenes around racism. And I heard my spirit say, this is how you were programmed to suppress yourself, because you have never experienced this level of suppression. You've not experienced white people this way. But the programming, the stories, the narratives, the programming, your mother's programming, your grandmother, it's already in the body. It's locked in the body. And so because the belief systems are locked in the body, it's an energy that then creates a feeling and a desire for more of itself. And you feed it when you watch these shows and you talk about these people and these things, and then you have experiences that duplicate it because you're creating it from within yourself. And that is why I, at the time when I was dating this young man, was not watching television. I didn't know that was why I wasn't watching it. I didn't know that. I just knew that I needed to purify my psyche, because my psyche was creating experiences that didn't feel good to me. And I didn't have the integrity and the courage at the time to forego his authority for my own. And so with Mercury retrograde today at the 10th degree, this is so important because the sun is in Capricorn. We're about to have a new moon in Capricorn in 6 days. And Capricorn has not had Pluto in it for the last 2 months, maybe, let's say. But Pluto has been there for 17 years. So this is an incredible opportunity to set a new intention for your authority, for you to understand that you are the authority here, and for you to see it in the ways that you have not understood it up till now, for you to have clarity about what your authority expresses like, looks like, feels like. And if you don't understand this, go study Saturn in your chart. Saturn, where Saturn is. Saturn rules Capricorn. But I have Saturn in Aries, so that means that I am the authority in my life. There is no other authority. There can't be, except that I give my power away. So go study your chart. If you want me to support you, you can book a natal chart reading to understand how to work with this energy. But here's the other thing. We're going to be in Capricorn season for 28 more days. And the way to access this wisdom is through resting, you all. You're not going to get this by overthinking. You're not going to get this by partying and celebrating and drinking and eating. The thing that's so tricky about this reality that we're in is that during the time when we need to rest most, it's turn up time. They're turning it up, and we participate in this stuff. And so set some intentions for rest, right? You don't have to miss everything, but don't do everything either. Create 15 minutes a day to go inside of yourself, to journal, to breathe, to ask yourself some questions. Really prioritize your healing and transformation right now, because if you don't, you will regret it. I am telling you, you will regret this. This world is ending. This reality that we're in is ending. And the energies, before they fizzle out, they are just power grabbing, just trying to see what sticks. What's the bird flu, the this, and what happens is people believe this stuff and then they give it life. And so it comes into an experience. And so spend some time with yourself. Now is hibernation time. It is hibernation time. This is not time to be out partying and drinking, and this is time to be sleeping and drinking tea and resting. And this is time to be shoring your energy system up. This is time to be, detoxing and releasing old patterns. This is time to chill out. So do a little bit of, if you need to, with your family, if you have children or things like that. But get everybody to rest. Get everybody, like the kids are home. Let's lay down. Let's put on some music that's soft. Let's burn some candles. Create an environment that is conducive to internal contemplation and quiet, and you don't have to do it all day. Just do it for a little while. You know what I mean? Put on some Hertz music, put on some, the 528 music or the 417, put the music on, to bring people internal so that you can, because this is time to rejuvenate. And if you don't rejuvenate now, you won't have a chance to do it come spring and summer. This is it. So go within. All right, you all, we're in a new moon cycle also. We're going to have a new moon in Capricorn. So all of this is about authority. Set an intention around being the authority in your life, having the authority, expressing from your own authority, trusting your authority, trusting yourself. Sagittarius has been about building faith. And then we come into Capricorn and we lay down the foundation for that faith. And then when we go into Aquarius, it's knowing. Now we're in the experience of it, right? We're in the fulfillment of it, because Aquarius is right around the time that we're getting ready for spring. So it's a real shift happening here, and it happens in your own consciousness. And you have to create the environment for your conscious, just like if you were going to grow a garden, you have to create the environment for those fruits and vegetables to thrive. You have to create the environment in your own mind, body to thrive. And, like I was talking yesterday about the masculine and the feminine inside of ourselves and having those energies be aligned. The masculine is your mind. It's Mercury. Your mind is the masculine. It can only repeat the past or project the future. The mind is hardly ever just present. The feminine is the body, Venus, your feelings. The feelings are the true picture of what's really happening. The mind is always in fear or, something, confusion, but the feelings, and most of us we live in our minds and not in our bodies. That has been my great work in this last 6 months, to get in my body, to actually be able to feel and trust what I'm feeling and not be afraid to feel. Many of us are very fearful of our feelings because we have not been given permission to have our feelings. I was working with a client for a few months, and I was so happy because she had a young daughter, and her daughter is very emotional, and she started kindergarten, and the teachers were saying things like, she's too emotional, and the mother was like, no, you're not going to take my daughter's feelings away from her. She gets to have her feelings, and we all need to. And I was so happy that she was so adamant about this experience, and this is really real for many of us. We must honor our feelings. You got to understand what am I feeling? What is it that I'm feeling? You have to become acquainted with your body. Acquaint yourself with your body. Acquaint yourself with your cycle. Acquaint yourself with your central sexual nature. Become acquainted. It took me a while to really understand that the home that I grew up in the environment was sexually abusive to me. The environment. Nobody actually sexually abused me, but having a mother who was a prostitute and a father who was a pimp, and the way they dealt with sex and their bodies, and was just a lot for a little girl. It was just inappropriate, and so that did something in my own system. And so I got to be in my 40s questioning what is this? What is my sexuality about? Because I was in relationships with people who were not prioritizing me. And I realized that behavior came from my childhood. It was something that had been conditioned in me long ago that I'm now getting to at 40 something. Why? Because the body does not forget. So you've got to really get curious about your body, which is why you need time alone, why you need solitude. You have to create the environment for you to evolve, for you to heal, for you to generate. And it's not, you don't have to, I don't want you to think that it has to be all or nothing. It can be, I have 15 minutes today. I have 5 minutes today. It's more about the intention. The intention matters more than the actual experience. The intention will create the experience if you hold the intention. It's not about going, oh, I can't because I don't have the money, or I can't because this job, or I have all these responsibilities. You don't look at the world and determine who you are. You determine who you are, and you hold that, and you watch the world morph around it, because you are the authority. So when you say, I am going to have 15 minutes a day for me to be true to myself, you watch people call you and be like, oh, I can't meet today. I can't, this going on, or this one. You watch the world bend around your authority. I'm reading The Body Keeps the Score right now. Oh, that's so funny. I didn't write the book, but I did read the book. So I understand it very much. So the authority, set an intention, you all. Set an intention. Set an intention. Set an intention to be great. Set an intention to love yourself. Set an intention to be the voice in your own head. Set an intention for the voice in your head to be your own, and not your mother's or your grandmother's or your husband's, or, somebody who hurt your feelings. The voice in your head is your own voice. Set that intention, because that will change everything. All right, you all. I love y'all so very much. We are almost done with this Mercury retrograde stuff. I love y'all so very much. I feel so honored to be able to be here, to be of service to you all, to be of service to myself, because this makes me feel good to give this information. It feels good to be myself. Thank you. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Happy Monday. Bye-bye.